Hi everybody. Alright, so we're back in a game I haven't played in a bit, but I've been playing with it a little bit today. It's called Until You Fall. Not really important, we'll get into that. I'm going to do a longer video on it in just a minute. But I wanted to cover something real quick. And one of the ways I think that in some ways, VR can be useful as a supplementary training aid. I'm not going to insinuate that this is a replacement for actual drills and partner work, but it's something. If you have nothing else to do and you don't have any opportunity to do anything else, do this with the right mindset. So the premise of this game is you're doing some sword fighty thing, and there's a weird mechanic to a lot of it. There's some magic and some range attacks, but we're not going to talk about that stuff. We're going to talk specifically about the sword flow mechanics. Now, there are lots of different weapons, and each one works a little bit differently. And I know it sounds crazy, but they actually feel like they weigh different weights and they move differently. I will demonstrate. So this is their version of basically a regular arming sword longsword. And this is about the speed at which it comfortably moves. So my brain feels its weight. It's really weird. All right, but I'm going to let that go. And I'm going to grab this rapier, which is much lighter and feels much faster, which I prefer. So I normally use a rapier in this hand and a dagger in this hand, just because this game really doesn't have a buckler. Now, when you're doing the combat game, there is a blocking mechanic, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We'll deal with that later. We're going to talk right now just about cut drills and flow drills and target recognition and acquisition. So we're going to do that with our good friend, the training dummy. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to cover movement. Is it a 1-to-1 scale? Absolutely not. Now, I do have a joystick on this controller in my left hand that I can use to move around the world, and I have a joystick on my right hand that I can use to move quickly, to dash. So I'm not going to talk about those because those are gross movements. My fine movement can actually be controlled where I am in space by moving my actual real-world feet and moving my actual real-world head. All right, so I'm going to walk forward to a point where this guy kind of triggers. So let's talk about what he is and how it works in the game. This is a target dummy. He's not actually going to strike back at me, so I don't have to deal with blocking. This is a glorified cut drill board for me.
Damnable dust.
Right. So again, he's a cut drill board. So he has a defense as represented by this icon here in this white bar. When I strike him, it damages his health or his armor. When I break his defense, I can start harming him in his health. So right now, let me move in space. I am just out of reach. So I can actually take a step forward, like in real time, and now I can hit him. But we're going to deal with that in a second. So what I have to do in game is I have to hit him enough with enough combos and blows to break his defense, and then I get a combo cut. So here, I'll just show you what that looks like. Okay, so now I got combo, and I have to cut on these lines in that time. See a little how the outside of the thing goes around and shrinks. There again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this setup lets me have 6 cuts. So what I can do is this allows me to practice finding those combo cuts. Like, okay, so break a defense, flat cut, this cut, that cut, this cut, that cut. So that's useful, just randomized practice. And it's just a good flow drill. only thing I struggle with this is sometimes I don't know if it wants me to cut up or whether it wants me to cut down. That's 2 cuts on the same line. I don't know if you can actually see my sword. Okay, let me do it slower. Let me try it with a slower weapon. You know what? We'll get the big great sword. Okay. So we've only got 4 combo cuts we can make here. So we're going to 2, 3, 4. Breaking. 1, 2, 3. Again, I find this a semi-useful tool. It's a good way to just keep the mental processes going and to kind of build, well, some stamina, if nothing else. You can do this for hours, which I can do this for about 2 hours before the battery dies. But, you know, we'll go and play the game and we'll see what that looks like, too. Okay, so we just covered the cut drill dummy. Now we're going to work on some blocking and some combo work. I'm going to have to use a controller to move a little bit because I don't want to wait that long. But this guy over here basically has very bad defense. This guy has better defense. They're both going to attack me. You'll see a blue icon show up on the screen, and that's going to be the angle of their cut. At that point, I have to interdispose either my dagger or my rapier into that cut, and that will damage their guard and allow me to start hurting them. So here, it'll just be easier to show you. So let's see if we can trigger some guys. All right, so these guys are going to come. Give me a cut. He's gonna cut. I'm gonna block that. Block. Cut. Down cut. Cross cut. He's dead. So, kind of got a beat on what's going on there. So again, I'm gonna try to trigger this guy. So he's coming. So he has 3 health and he has a pretty good defense. Here he comes. He's gonna make his cut. I'm gonna block. I'm gonna block. Hit him, break his guard, upcut, cross cut, he's dead. I missed those 2 blocks. It is, you gotta be very close.
Good work.
So, that's kind of the game. Do I think it's perfect? No. Do I think it's a replacement for actual drills and practice? No. Is it a fun thing you can do that helps you keep your brain and your body sharp? Maybe. Check it out. Again, it's called Until You Fall. It's available on the Quest. It's, I think, one of the better sword simulators. This and Swordsman VR are probably my 2 favorite sword-like simulators in-game. I would try them. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.